On, remember yesterday's big story was the move that we saw in the entire alcohol stocks. Remember, Maharashtra government day for yesterday increased the state excise duty on Indian-made foreign liquor by over 50 to 60%. A new category of grain-based foreign liquor called Maharashtra-made liquor has been approved. We are now joined by Vinod Giri, Director General of Brewers Association of India. Thank you so much, Mr. Giri, for joining us. First up, was this along expected lines, especially the quantum? It's quite a steep hike, and drinkers will now have to pay a significantly higher amount to enjoy their tipple as far as Maharashtra is concerned.
So just to contextualize it, this is a kind of tax reform in a way which the government is undertaking. The fact is that the beer prices were increased by about 18% way back in 2018-19. That was a part of the reform exercise. For COVID and then subsequently for various reasons, there was no tax increase on the spirit side, the IMFL and country liquor and everything. So this in a way is making a correction for that. The fact is in the last 10, 12 years, the beer taxes have been increased by nearly 32%, whereas IMFL, I think, is about just 9%. In the last 10 years, there has not been any change in IMFL taxes. So in a way, it was something long overdue. It appears large because it's happening after a long time. But the fact is, other segments the taxes have been revised regularly, whereas IMFL and liquor segments were let off. And just to give you put the context, 10 years back, beer price used to be for the standard that 650 ml bottle. It used to be over 110 rupees. Today, it's 190 rupees. Compare that with the IMFL, your typical that NIPS, which competes with beer, used to be 130 rupees. It's gone up to just 150, 160 rupees range because there has not been any increase in the taxes all this time, except for some increase in VAT. So in a way, the beer, which used to be actually about 20 rupees cheaper than IMFL, the spirits, is now 30, 40 rupees more expensive. That's something that as a policy measure, no government likes to do. Beer is a drink of moderation. They tend to tax beer more favorably in that sense. So I think it's a correction which has happened. And it's not excise rate increase is probably a wrong term. It's more like a tax restructuring and reforms.
Okay. Well, Mr. Giri, that point is taken that it's probably long overdue because I think the last revision came in 2011. So it is, long overdue. But nonetheless, that means that cost is going to go up. So in your sense, how exactly is demand going to be impacted according to you?
See, in the last, say, about 10 years, the demand for liquor or the sales for IMFL, at least I can talk about, that has gone by a CAGR of 7% year after year. That's a seriously strong growth. So there has been enough in the tank. So we may see a bit of slowdown happening with the market adjust to the prices. But also we have to bear in mind, these are the kind of prices which are prevailing in neighboring states like Karnataka and MP. So it's coming to that level. So I think there may be initial a bit of, it'll take a bit time for the market to settle in. But I think the market will maintain its normal healthy course. 7% may be difficult to sustain in these conditions. But yeah, I think the damage is not going to be lasting on any.
True.
The beer will improve, of course, which means the industry which has been flat for the last 10 years, there has not been really any increase in the beer sales.
Right.
So that will come back to growth, which will be good for the industry.
Mr. Giri, if possible, can you quantify the last time, you said that the hike was seen as far as the beer segment was concerned and IMFL was left out. So what was the incremental shift in volumes that you saw, especially in terms of consumer preferences towards IMFL? What percentage of it do you expect to come back? And you did mention that last couple of years, beer growth has been flattish. Given this excise duty, especially in the state of Maharashtra, could you pencil in or could you quantify the kind of growth you expect in the beer space?
So let's say not last couple of years. If I take last 10 years, which is a very stable data platform, So the CAGR for beer has been about 1%, which is almost flat given the conditions. In the same period, the CAGR for IMFL has been 7%, which is way above the rest of the country. So I think we'll see a bit of correction in that. If you look at the national numbers, the growth numbers for spirits in India, pan-India is about 3%. The growth numbers for beer, pan-India is about 9%, little over 9%. So we will see that kind of correction coming. I expect the IMFL growth will come down to more realistic levels, and beer will rise up to the numbers I mentioned. At least I would imagine, and it's anybody's guess, it should be closer to the national growth numbers, which is about 9 to 10%.
Okay. What is your take on the government carving out this special category for locally made liquor?
So this we have seen this trend in a few other states like Rajasthan, we have seen in UP, we have seen. So it's a category which is between the country liquor and the IMFL. The stated objective for this category is uptrading people from the country liquor to IMFL and always stop by in this new created segment. The quality of the product is expected to be better than country liquor and slightly below the bottom end of IMFL. And it's a kind of in-between thing is being created. It's a new slab being created. It does reasonably well in some other states. 10 to 20% share it can take off from the spirits industry. So we'll see how it is, because some of the, especially in states where a lot of country liquor is being produced from molasses, and Maharashtra is one of them. The fact that entirely grain-based spirit producers come into this country liquor plus or IMFL minus segment does make a difference in the quality. So this segment will have some impact. I think the government is going to gain more revenues out of this.
Okay. When the government is going to earn more revenues out of this, can you give us a sense in terms of how much you're probably anticipating it as to become in terms of a category?
So the government estimate overall is 14,000 crores. They think they will earn through this exercise.
Okay. Mr. Giri, a very quick answer we want from you, sir. Number one, how do you see customer trends now shifting, especially in the state of Maharashtra, given the fact that over a 10-year period, the consumption growth itself has been flattish? And number two, how are barley prices trading? And do you see or do you feel the margins as far as beer players are concerned can improve materially from here on?
Yeah, it's see, at the end of the day, the profitability is large components are the packaging and raw material. The rest of the taxes we keep out. Even though in India, almost 70% of the value chain is in taxes, so that makes a big difference. But if you go back to the raw material, I think the barley prices are now stabilizing, and we had seen a very traumatic time when after the Ukraine war, which used to be a big supplier of barley. So now at least we have a certain certainty on that. The glass is also cooling down. So I think on the cost front, I don't see any major hit coming the beer industry's way. It looks pretty stable. Taxes remain a big concern because they are the largest, by far the largest chunk of the cost value chain.
Okay, all right, Mr. Giri, we're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and speaking with us. And I'm sure we'll touch base when we have more data in terms of what the impact of the excise duty hikes would be as well. That's the perspective which is coming in. Remember that yesterday was a tough day for a lot of these alcohol stocks. We'll take a short break, but a quick update. Unlock a new dimension of business intelligence with CNBC TV 18 Access, our premium members-only experience on CNBCTV18.com. From market-moving insights and thought leadership to exclusive access to marquee events, journalist interactions, studio tours, and high-impact learning sessions. This is a truly elevated experience with members also enjoying curated lifestyle privileges and perks. The power of insight, the privilege of access, exclusivity, experiences, and influence. Yours to claim. Become a member. Log on to CNBCTV18.com/access/plan.